Hello Greyhounds! Let's have a look at all the Easter eggs, pop culture references, and other cool details from episode 9 of season 1. All apologies. There are too many things to appreciate in this opening scene. We begin with Roy doing a cold plunge in a rubbish bin. An excellent way of muscle recovery, although do make sure there's no garbage inside the bin first. I don't know if it was intentional, but a head emerging from water always brings to mind that iconic scene from Apocalypse Now, with Martin Sheen emerging into the mayhem. Ted says that he doesn't want to listen to Roy's complaints any more than he would like to listen to Woody Allen playing the clarinet. I'm no jazz expert, nor have I heard Woody Allen play the clarinet, but the Los Angeles Times wrote in their 2011 review of Allen's band, "They are fine musicians, save one." And Woody Allen's piping tone and strings of staccato notes can't approximate melodic or lyrical phrasing. Meanwhile, the graphic of the football show that Roy is punishing himself by watching is using an old nursery rhyme as the headline to taunt Roy, Michael Finnegan. Unlike Woody, I won't subject anyone to my musical shortcomings. You'll have to sing it yourself. Oh, and by the way, turnovers is much more a basketball statistic rather than a metric for football players. Potentially, pass completion would be more appropriate for Roy. At the same time, the jubilant Danny Rojas is singing in the background in Spanish while he gets his cool down. Lyrics that you might find familiar if you translate in English. You know I'm yours if you remember that you're mine, and everybody's telling me I have no time, which per the Ted Lasso opening song by Marcus Mumford is when I prove them wrong. And as he says, we get to the yeah of the theme song. Delightful. As he leaves, Ted likens Roy to a brunette Oscar the Grouch, the beloved puppet from Sesame Street that lives in a bean. And yes, I see it too. And of course, avowed Muppets fan Brett Goldstein has also visited Sesame Street. The final graphic of the football show, before we leave Roy to his misery, seems more like a projection of Roy's mind rather than something a football show would put on. Meanwhile, Rebecca is getting photographed for a Women in Football special, which would include Karren, Delia, and Posh Spice. Karren probably refers to Baroness Karren Brady, probably most famous from The Apprentice, who was a managing director of Birmingham City before becoming a vice chairperson of West Ham United. Delia probably refers to Delia Smith, mostly known for her culinary adventures, who was nonetheless a majority shareholder of Norwich City along with her husband. Posh Spice you probably know, although I don't think she has any investment in British football. They probably just needed a fourth woman for symmetry. If they were doing the photoshoot in 2026, they would probably have gone for Michele Kang, the owner of London City Lionesses in the UK, Washington Spirit in the US, and Olympique Lyon in France. In the press conference, Ted makes a joke that elicits giggles. But seriously, do many Britons know country superstar Willie Nelson and his fondness for marijuana enough to get the joke? Then he references the Westboro Baptist Church, which I think Britons would definitely not get. It's a cult church/hate group from Kansas, founded in 1955, hating pretty much all you'd expect they would hate. The next thing Ted teaches me is the phrase Audi 5000, which is another American thing, as the Audi 5000 was known as the Audi 100 or 200 in most of the rest of the world. It means I'm out of here, and it is associated with that particular Audi model because between 1983 and 1985 it apparently lurched forward when it shouldn't have. Rebecca, in her preamble before coming clean to Ted about her villainous act in episode 2 when she had arranged for incriminating photographs of Ted and Killy to be published in a tabloid, manages to wonder about the etymology of the word procrastination. It comes from Latin, if you are wondering, cras meaning tomorrow, and pro is for, so it means live for tomorrow. A strategy I very much follow with my YouTube videos. She also briefly mentions Top of the Pops, a legendary BBC program that ran for 40 years, presenting the week's best-selling pop records. Speaking of records, Ted references Kanye's 808s and Heartbreak as an album that doesn't get much appreciation. It was a departure from Kanye's previous rap records and was largely overlooked by the Grammys. Not sure how well Kanye was doing in 2020, he's not doing very well at the moment. Keely is indoctrinating young Phoebe to English rock band Led Zeppelin. I suppose the joke is twofold. Keely doesn't know how to entertain children, and that Led Zeppelin, a hard rock band, might not appeal to a 6-year-old. But I defy anyone not to like the melodies of Stairway to Heaven, their most famous song from iconic album Led Zeppelin 4. I am personally partial to Kashmir from other iconic album Physical Graffiti. Ted likens Beard to Chief Bromden from the classic 1975 Milos Forman film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, one of only 3 films that have ever won the Big 5 Oscars, the other 2 being Frank Capra's It Happened One Night and The Silence of the Lambs. Beard prefers Tabor, the character portrayed by Christopher Lloyd, and we all remember how good Beard is at imitating Christopher Lloyd. Ted then goes on to talk about The Fresh Prince, the Will Smith sitcom of the 90s. He mentions the recasting of Aunt Viv, who was portrayed by Janet Hubert in the first 3 seasons, before being stealthily recast for the last 3 seasons, being replaced by Daphne Ride. The mention is in order to pay an homage to the comedic genius of Carlton, aka Alfonso Ribeiro, who was, after all, clearly the inspiration for Ted's famous celebration dance. And that's it from me for this episode. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.